What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this, your blood is listening to every word you think, every emotion you feel, every story you tell yourself about who you are? What if the cells flowing through your veins aren't just carrying oxygen, but carrying the blueprint of your beliefs, your fears, your dreams? You've been having a conversation with your blood your entire life, but have you been speaking the right language? Your blood completely repletes itself every 120 days. That means in 4 months, you literally have new blood coursing through your body. Yet most people spend decades carrying the same old stories, the same limiting beliefs, the same emotional patterns. They're programming brand new blood with ancient wounds. Before we dive deep into this life-changing conversation, if these insights resonate with you, hit that subscribe button and comment below with your city and the time you're watching. I'm genuinely curious where this message is reaching people around the world. You're tired of feeling disconnected from your own body. You're exhausted from treatments that work on everyone else but not you. You're frustrated because you know something deeper is going on, but every doctor, every expert, every guru seems to be missing the point. You've tried everything: the diets, the supplements, the medications, the therapies. Some things help for a while, but then you're right back where you started. You feel like your body is working against you, like it has a mind of its own, like it's betraying you when you need it most. I understand this frustration because I've been there myself. I've also seen it in thousands of patients over the past 35 years. People who come to me feeling broken, feeling hopeless, feeling like their bodies are their enemies. They've been told their problems are genetic, that they're just getting older, that they need to accept their limitations. They've been taught to see their bodies as machines that wear out, break down, and need fixing from the outside. But here's what I've discovered that changed everything for me and for thousands of people I've worked with. Your body isn't malfunctioning. It's responding perfectly to the conversation you're having with it. The problem isn't your genetics, your age, or your circumstances. The problem is that nobody ever taught you how to speak to the intelligence that lives inside you. Nobody taught you that your blood is listening, that your cells are responding, that your body is your partner, not your enemy. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful meditation. This is about understanding the actual biological reality of how your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs create chemical messages that your blood carries to every cell in your body. When you change the conversation, you change the chemistry. When you change the chemistry, you change your life. This is science, not wishful thinking. This is biology, not fantasy. Let me tell you about Maria. She walked into my office 5 years ago, and I'll never forget the look in her eyes. She was 43 years old, but she moved like she was 90. Her shoulders were hunched forward, as if she was carrying the weight of the world. Her face was pale, her energy was depleted, and there was a sadness in her eyes that went deeper than any physical symptom. She sat down across from me and said, "Dr. Freeman, I think my body hates me." For 15 years, she'd been battling chronic fatigue, joint pain, digestive issues, and depression. She'd seen dozens of specialists: rheumatologists, endocrinologists, gastroenterologists, psychiatrists, therapists. She'd tried every diet you can imagine: paleo, keto, vegan, raw food, elimination diets. She'd taken hundreds of supplements: vitamins, minerals, herbs, probiotics, adaptogens. She'd done acupuncture, massage therapy, chiropractic care, energy healing. Nothing worked for more than a few weeks. She was convinced her body was broken beyond repair. She told me she felt like she was living in enemy territory, like her own body was sabotaging her every effort to feel better. She'd gained weight despite eating less. She was exhausted despite sleeping more. She was in pain despite avoiding activities that might cause pain. Everything she tried seemed to backfire. I looked at her blood work, and technically, everything appeared normal. Her thyroid was fine. Her blood sugar was stable. Her vitamin levels were adequate. According to the lab results, she was healthy. But I could see something else. I could see years of self-criticism written in her posture, decades of negative self-talk etched in the lines around her eyes. I could feel the weight of the internal battle she'd been fighting for years. So I asked her a simple question. I said, "Maria, how do you talk to yourself when you look in the mirror?" She broke down crying. She told me she called herself names I won't repeat here. She told me she hated every inch of her body. She blamed her body for every disappointment in her life. Her failed relationships, her stalled career, her social isolation. She saw her body as the source of all her problems. She would wake up each morning and immediately start criticizing herself. Her hair wasn't right. Her skin looked terrible. She felt bloated. She looked old. Throughout the day, she would catch herself in mirrors and windows and feel disgusted by what she saw. She would compare herself to other women and feel inadequate. She would try on clothes and feel frustrated by how nothing looked good on her. She would go to bed each night feeling defeated by her own body. That's when I realized something profound. Maria's blood had been listening to this internal dialogue for years. Every harsh word, every moment of self-hatred, every "I'm not good enough," had been carried through her bloodstream to every cell in her body. Her cells were simply responding to the messages they'd been receiving. They weren't failing her. They were obeying her. Think about it. If someone followed you around all day, criticizing everything you did, how would you perform? If someone constantly told you that you were failing, that you weren't good enough, that you were disappointing them, how motivated would you be to help them? This is exactly what Maria had been doing to her body for decades. Her cells had been receiving messages of rejection, criticism, and hatred. No wonder they weren't functioning optimally. I taught Maria something that changed everything. I taught her that her blood wasn't her enemy. It was her most loyal friend, waiting patiently for new instructions. I explained to her that every thought creates chemistry, every emotion triggers the release of chemical messengers, and her blood carries these messages throughout her body. Ancient cultures understood this. They knew blood was sacred, that it carried not just nutrients, but the very essence of life itself. In Chinese medicine, blood is considered one of the fundamental substances that sustain life, carrying not just physical nourishment, but emotional and spiritual energy. In Ayurveda, blood is seen as one of the vital tissues that maintains the body's intelligence and memory. Indigenous cultures around the world have rituals and ceremonies honoring blood as the carrier of ancestral wisdom and life force. They understood that blood was the bridge between mind and body, between spirit and flesh. They knew that the health of the blood determined the health of the entire being. They practiced rituals and ceremonies to purify the blood, to program it with positive intentions, to ensure it carried messages of healing and wholeness throughout the body. Modern science is finally catching up to this ancient wisdom. We now know that every thought creates neuropeptides, chemical messengers that travel through your bloodstream. We know that emotions trigger the release of hormones that your blood carries to every organ, every tissue, every cell. We know that stress creates cortisol, that love creates oxytocin, that joy creates endorphins, and that all of these chemicals travel through your blood to influence every aspect of your physiology. Your blood isn't just a delivery system for oxygen and nutrients. It's the communication network between your conscious mind and your physical body. It's the highway system that carries information from your brain to your heart, from your heart to your liver, from your liver to your immune system. Every cell in your body is in constant communication with every other cell through this incredible network we call your circulatory system. But here's what almost nobody tells you about this process. Your blood doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. It responds to the stories you tell yourself as if they were absolute truth. If you constantly tell yourself you're sick, your blood carries that message of illness. If you tell yourself you're healing, your blood carries that message of restoration. If you tell yourself you're weak, your blood carries messages that create weakness. If you tell yourself you're strong, your blood carries messages that create strength. This is why the placebo effect is so powerful. When people believe they're receiving a healing treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, their blood carries the chemistry of belief, hope, and expectation. Their cells respond to these positive messages by activating healing mechanisms, reducing inflammation, and improving function. It's not that they're being tricked or that the healing isn't real. The healing is absolutely real because the chemistry is real. The same thing happens with the nocebo effect. When people believe they're going to get worse, when they expect negative side effects, when they focus on worst-case scenarios, their blood carries the chemistry of fear, doubt, and expectation of harm. Their cells respond by activating stress responses, increasing inflammation, and suppressing healing mechanisms. Maria and I worked together for 6 months. I didn't give her any new medications. I didn't prescribe any special treatments. I didn't recommend any expensive supplements or procedures. Instead, I taught her how to change the conversation she was having with her blood. I taught her how to speak to her body with kindness, with gratitude, with respect. The first thing we worked on was awareness. I asked her to pay attention to her internal dialogue for 1 week without trying to change anything. Just notice. What did she say to herself when she woke up? What thoughts ran through her mind when she looked in the mirror? What stories did she tell herself throughout the day about her body, her health, her appearance? She was shocked by what she discovered. She realized she was having dozens of negative conversations with her body every single day. She was criticizing herself almost constantly. She was apologizing for her existence, complaining about her limitations, expressing frustration with her appearance. She was like a harsh boss who never gave any positive feedback, only criticism and demand. The second thing we worked on was interruption. Every time she caught herself having a negative internal conversation, she would pause and say, "Stop. Cancel that message." Then she would consciously choose a different message to send. Instead of, "I look terrible today," she would say, "I appreciate my body for carrying me through another day." Instead of, "I'm so tired," she would say, "My body is asking for rest so it can restore itself." At first, this felt artificial to her. She said it felt like lying to herself. But I explained that she had been lying to herself for years by telling herself that her body was her enemy. The truth was that her body had been working tirelessly to keep her alive, to heal her injuries, to fight off infections, to maintain her heartbeat and breathing without any conscious effort from her. Her body deserved appreciation, not criticism. The third thing we worked on was intention. Every morning, she would place her hands on her heart and consciously program her blood with positive intentions for the day. She would say, "Dear body, thank you for this new day. I choose to send you messages of love and appreciation today. Please carry these intentions to every cell." The transformation was remarkable. Within the first month, her energy began to return. She started waking up feeling more rested. Her joint pain decreased. Her digestion improved. Her mood lifted. By the third month, she had lost 15 pounds without changing her diet. By the 6th month, she looked like a completely different person. Her posture was straight, her skin was glowing, her eyes were bright, and she moved with confidence and grace. Her blood work showed improvements that her other doctors called miraculous. Her inflammatory markers decreased significantly. Her hormone levels balanced. Her immune function improved. Her cellular energy production increased. But I knew it wasn't a miracle. It was simply the result of changing the conversation. Your blood is your messenger system, and every cell in your body has ears. Think about it. Every cell in your body has receptor sites, tiny docking stations that receive chemical messages. These aren't just random biological structures. They're listening posts, waiting for instructions from your conscious mind. Scientists have discovered that we have receptor sites for emotions. There are receptor sites for joy, for love, for gratitude, for peace. There are also receptor sites for fear, for anger, for sadness, for stress. When you think a thought, when you feel an emotion, when you tell yourself a story about who you are, your brain immediately begins producing the corresponding chemistry. If you think thoughts of love and gratitude, your brain produces oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphins. These chemicals travel through your bloodstream and dock at the receptor sites that respond to positive emotions. Your cells receive the message that all is well, that they are loved and appreciated, that they should function optimally. If you think thoughts of fear and criticism, your brain produces cortisol, adrenaline, and inflammatory compounds. These chemicals travel through your bloodstream and dock at receptor sites that respond to stress and danger. Your cells receive the message that they are under attack, that they need to conserve energy, that they should prioritize survival over optimal function. This chemistry travels through your bloodstream and docks at these cellular receptor sites, telling your cells how to behave, how to function, how to respond to their environment. Your cells don't have the ability to question these messages. They simply obey. This is why two people can have the exact same diagnosis, but completely different outcomes. It's not just about genetics or luck or the severity of the condition. It's about the conversation they're having with their blood. It's about the messages they're sending to their cells every moment of every day. I've seen this countless times in my practice. I've had patients with advanced cancer who healed completely, and patients with minor conditions who got worse. The difference wasn't in their medical treatment. The difference was in their internal dialogue, in the messages they were sending through their bloodstream to their cells. The patients who healed were the ones who learned to work with their bodies instead of against them. They spoke to their cells with love and encouragement. They visualized their immune system as an army of healing warriors. They programmed their blood with messages of strength, healing, and recovery. Their cells responded by activating every available healing mechanism. The patients who struggled were the ones who remained at war with their bodies. They spoke to themselves with fear and despair. They visualized worst-case scenarios. They programmed their blood with messages of defeat, hopelessness, and deterioration. Their cells responded by shutting down healing mechanisms and conserving energy for what they perceived as a hopeless battle. Most people are having unconscious conversations with their blood. They're running on autopilot, repeating the same mental patterns they learned in childhood. They're programming their cells with the voices of critical parents, disappointed teachers, judgmental peers. They're carrying forward conversations that were never theirs to begin with. Maybe you learned to criticize your body from a parent who was always dieting, always complaining about their appearance. Maybe you learned to distrust your body from a doctor who dismissed your symptoms. Maybe you learned to fight your body from a culture that teaches us to push through pain, to ignore our needs, to treat our bodies like machines instead of living beings. But when you become conscious of this process, when you realize you can choose the messages you send, everything changes. You realize that you have the power to reprogram your cells, to change the chemistry flowing through your bloodstream, to transform your relationship with your body from enemy to ally. Your blood trusts consistency over intensity. It doesn't matter if you have one moment of positive thinking, followed by hours of negative self-talk. Your blood responds to the dominant pattern, the conversation you have most often. This is why lasting transformation requires practice, not just insight. You need to consistently send new messages until they become your new default pattern. Think of it like learning a new language. At first, you have to consciously think about every word, every sentence structure. But with practice, it becomes natural, automatic, effortless. The same thing happens when you learn to speak to your blood in a new way. At first, it requires conscious effort. But with practice, positive internal dialogue becomes your new default pattern. Every cell in your body is constantly dying and being reborn. Your skin cells replace themselves every 2 to 3 weeks. Your liver cells regenerate every 150 days. Your heart muscle cells renew themselves every few years. Your bones completely rebuild themselves every 7 to 10 years. This means you literally have the opportunity to create a new body by changing the instructions you give your blood. You can program your new cells with health instead of sickness, with vitality instead of fatigue, with joy instead of depression. You can give your blood new instructions that create the body you want instead of the body you've been unconsciously programming with old patterns of thought and emotion. But most people don't realize this power they have. They think their body is fixed, that their health is predetermined by their genes or their past. They don't understand that every moment is a chance to begin again, to give their blood new instructions, to program their cells for healing instead of suffering. Your genes are not your destiny. Your genes are like a piano with 88 keys, and your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs determine which keys get played. You can have genes for cancer, but if you never activate those genes through your internal chemistry, they remain silent. You can have genes for longevity, but if you don't activate them through positive internal dialogue, they won't express themselves. This is the science of epigenetics, the study of how our environment and our choices influence which genes get turned on and which genes get turned off. Your internal environment, the chemistry flowing through your bloodstream, is one of the most powerful influences on your genetic expression. When you consistently send messages of stress, fear, and criticism through your bloodstream, you activate genes associated with inflammation, aging, and disease. When you consistently send messages of love, gratitude, and peace, you activate genes associated with healing, regeneration, and longevity. The key is learning to speak to your blood with intention instead of defaulting to unconscious patterns. This requires awareness, practice, and patience. You need to catch yourself in old patterns of thinking and consciously choose new ones. You need to develop a new vocabulary for speaking to your body, words of encouragement instead of criticism, words of partnership instead of domination. When you're sick, instead of saying, "Why is my body failing me?" you can say, "What is my body trying to tell me? How can we work together to heal?" When you're tired, instead of saying, "I hate feeling so exhausted," you can say, "My body is asking for rest so it can restore itself." When you're in pain, instead of saying, "This pain is ruining my life," you can say, "This pain is alerting me to something that needs attention." Instead of fighting your symptoms, you can thank your blood for alerting you to what needs attention. Symptoms aren't punishments or failures. They're communication. They're your body's way of saying, "Pay attention here. Something needs to change here." When Maria learned to do this, her entire relationship with her body transformed. She stopped seeing her body as the enemy and started seeing it as her partner. She stopped fighting against her symptoms and started listening to what they were trying to tell her. She stopped criticizing her appearance and started appreciating all the amazing things her body did for her every day. She began each day by placing her hands on her heart and speaking directly to her blood. She would say, "Thank you for carrying my intentions today. Thank you for nourishing every cell. Thank you for fighting infections while I sleep. Thank you for healing cuts and bruises without any conscious effort from me. I trust you to support my highest good." This isn't wishful thinking. This is practical biology. When you speak to your blood with gratitude and trust, you trigger the release of healing hormones like oxytocin and endorphins. Oxytocin, often called the love hormone, reduces inflammation, lowers blood pressure, and promotes healing. Endorphins are your body's natural painkillers and mood elevators. When you send messages of love and appreciation, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes rest, repair, and regeneration. This is the opposite of your fight or flight response. When your parasympathetic nervous system is activated, your body shifts from survival mode to healing mode. Your blood carries these positive chemical messengers throughout your body, instructing your cells to heal, to thrive, to flourish. Your immune system becomes more effective. Your digestive system functions better. Your sleep becomes more restorative. Your energy increases. Your mood improves. The conversation you have with your blood also affects your immune system. When you're constantly stressed, critical, or fearful, your blood carries stress hormones like cortisol throughout your body. Chronic cortisol suppresses immune function, increases inflammation, and promotes the storage of fat, especially around your midsection. But when you consciously choose to send messages of calm, confidence, and compassion, your blood carries anti-inflammatory compounds that support your immune system and promote healing. You produce more immunoglobulin A, which protects your mucous membranes. You produce more natural killer cells, which fight cancer and infections. You produce more T helper cells, which coordinate your immune response. Your blood also carries information about your emotional state to every organ in your body. When you're happy, your blood carries the chemistry of joy to your heart, making it beat more efficiently. When you're grateful, your blood carries appreciation to your liver, helping it detoxify more effectively. When you're peaceful, your blood carries calm to your nervous system, helping you think more clearly and react more wisely. This is why emotional healing and physical healing are so interconnected. You can't heal your body while maintaining toxic relationships with it. You can't create vibrant health while sending messages of hatred and criticism through your bloodstream. Your emotional state and your physical state are not separate. They're different aspects of the same system. Now let me show you exactly how to put this into practice. These are simple techniques that anyone can use, regardless of their current health status, their age, or their background. The key is consistency. Like learning any new skill, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Every morning, before you get out of bed, place both hands on your heart and feel your pulse. This is your blood, your life force, flowing through your body. Take a deep breath and say, "Good morning, dear blood. Thank you for working so hard while I slept. Thank you for repairing and regenerating my cells. Thank you for carrying nutrients to every part of my body. Today, I choose to program you with love, with health, with gratitude. Please carry these intentions to every cell in my body." Take a moment to really feel your heartbeat, to appreciate the miracle of circulation happening within you right now. Your heart beats over 100,000 times per day, pumping blood to every cell in your body. Your blood travels through 60,000 miles of blood vessels, delivering exactly what each cell needs, removing waste products, maintaining the perfect balance that keeps you alive. This isn't just a nice ritual. You're literally beginning your day by consciously programming your bloodstream with positive chemistry. You're setting the tone for how your cells will behave throughout the day. You're establishing yourself as a loving leader instead of a critical dictator. Throughout the day, whenever you notice negative self-talk, pause and redirect. This takes practice, because most of us have been running negative internal commentary for years. It's become so automatic that we don't even notice it. But awareness is the first step to change. Instead of saying, "I'm so tired," try saying, "I'm allowing my body to rest and restore." Instead of, "I hate how I look," try, "I appreciate my body for all it does for mine." Instead of, "I'm getting old," try, "I'm gaining wisdom and experience." Instead of, "My body is failing me," try, "My body is communicating with me." Your blood is listening to every word, carrying every message to your cells. When you criticize yourself, you're literally programming your cells with criticism. When you appreciate yourself, you're programming your cells with appreciation. Which message do you think will create better health outcomes? When you're sick or in pain, don't fight against your symptoms. Instead, practice the healing dialogue technique. Place your hands on the area that needs healing and speak directly to your blood. Say, "I notice you're working hard in this area. Thank you for alerting me to what needs attention. Thank you for sending extra resources here to promote healing. I trust you to bring healing energy here. I believe in your ability to restore perfect health." This isn't about denying reality or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about changing your relationship with challenges from resistance to cooperation. When you fight against your symptoms, you create stress hormones that actually make healing more difficult. When you work with your body, you create healing hormones that support your natural repair mechanisms. Pain and illness are not punishments. They're not signs that your body has betrayed you. They're communication systems, alerting you to imbalances that need attention. When you thank your body for this communication instead of resenting it, you create a partnership that promotes faster healing. Before you sleep each night, practice the evening reset. This is crucial because your blood is most active in healing and repair while you sleep. Your growth hormone levels peak during deep sleep. Your immune system works overtime to fight infections and repair damage. Your brain clears metabolic waste products through your bloodstream. Lie down and take several deep breaths. Say to your blood, "Thank you for carrying me through this day. Thank you for all the healing work you've done. I release any stress, any criticism, any negative programming from today. I choose to let go of any messages that don't serve my highest good. While I sleep, please carry healing energy throughout my body. Please repair, restore, and regenerate every cell according to my highest good." By consciously programming positive intentions before bed, you're giving your blood specific instructions for the 8 hours of healing work it will do while you're unconscious. You're making sure that your subconscious mind continues to send positive messages even while you sleep. Create your own personal vocabulary for speaking to your blood. Some people prefer formal language. Others prefer casual conversation. Some like to be specific about what they want. Others prefer general intentions. The key is authenticity. Your blood responds to your genuine intentions, not to perfect words. You might say, "Blood, you're amazing. Keep up the good work." Or you might say, "I deeply appreciate the miracle of circulation happening within me right now." You might speak to specific organs. "Dear liver, thank you for detoxifying my body. Dear kidneys, thank you for filtering my blood. Dear immune system, thank you for protecting me." Find words that feel true to you, words that come from your heart, not just your head. Your blood responds to emotion more than to logic. When you speak with genuine feeling, with real appreciation, with authentic love, your blood carries that emotional chemistry throughout your body. Some people like to visualize their blood as golden light flowing through their body. Others imagine their blood as a river of healing energy. Others simply focus on the feeling of their pulse, the sensation of life flowing through their veins. Use whatever imagery feels right to you. Remember, this conversation has been happening your entire life. The only difference now is that you're choosing to make it conscious. You're choosing to take responsibility for the messages you send. You're choosing to become an active participant in your own healing instead of a passive victim of circumstance. This doesn't mean you should never seek medical care or ignore serious symptoms. It means you can be a partner in your healing process instead of just a passive recipient of treatment. It means you can support whatever medical interventions you need. With positive internal chemistry, many of my patients have found that when they change their internal dialogue, their medical treatments work better. Their side effects are reduced. Their recovery time is faster. Their overall outcomes improve. This makes perfect sense when you understand that your internal chemistry affects every aspect of your physiology. Your blood doesn't care about your past mistakes, your current limitations, or your future fears. It only responds to what you're programming it with right now, in this moment. Every breath is a new beginning. Every heartbeat is a fresh start. Every moment is an opportunity to send new messages, to program new chemistry, to create new possibilities. This is why hope is so important for healing. Hope isn't just a nice feeling. Hope creates specific chemistry that travels through your bloodstream and activates healing mechanisms. When you have hope, your blood carries messages that tell your cells to keep fighting, to keep healing, to keep working toward recovery. Despair creates the opposite chemistry. When you give up hope, your blood carries messages that tell your cells to conserve energy, to shut down non-essential functions, to prepare for the worst. This is why maintaining hope, even in difficult circumstances, is so crucial for health outcomes. But hope needs to be balanced with acceptance. You can't force healing through willpower alone. You can't demand that your body heal according to your timeline. True healing requires a balance of hope and surrender, of intention and acceptance, of effort and grace. Your blood responds best when you combine clear intentions with complete trust. When you program your blood with what you want, while simultaneously trusting your body's wisdom about how and when to deliver it. When you send messages of healing, while accepting whatever your body needs to teach you through the process. Maria taught me this. During our work together, there were times when her symptoms got worse before they got better. At first, she panicked, thinking she was doing something wrong. But I taught her that healing isn't always linear. Sometimes your body needs to release old patterns, old toxins, old emotional energy before it can create something new. Instead of fighting these temporary setbacks, she learned to trust them as part of her healing process. She would say to her blood, "I trust you to do whatever needs to be done. I trust your wisdom about how to heal me. I'm here to support you, not to control you." This surrender actually accelerated her healing. When she stopped trying to force outcomes and started supporting her body's natural intelligence, her recovery became more consistent and more complete. Your blood has been waiting your entire life for you to remember this simple truth. You are not separate from your body. You are in constant conversation with it. Every moment of every day, you're either programming healing or programming struggle. The choice has always been yours. This isn't about perfection. You don't need to have perfect thoughts or perfect emotions. You just need to be more conscious of the conversation you're having and more intentional about the messages you send. You need to treat your body like the faithful friend it has always been, instead of the enemy you may have imagined it to be. Your body has never betrayed you. It has been working tirelessly to keep you alive, to protect you from harm, to heal your injuries, to fight your infections. It has been responding to your instructions as faithfully as possible, even when those instructions weren't serving your highest good. Maria called me last month, 3 years after our work together ended. She said, "Dr. Freeman, I want to thank you for teaching me how to love my blood. I want to thank you for showing me that my body was never my enemy. It was my greatest ally, waiting patiently for me to remember how to speak its language." She told me she still practices the morning blessing every day. She still speaks to her blood with gratitude and trust. She said it's become as natural as breathing, as automatic as her heartbeat. She said she can't imagine going back to the old way of relating to her body. That's the power you have right now. Your blood is flowing through your body, carrying life to every cell, waiting for your instructions. What conversation will you choose to have? What messages will you send? What kind of body will you program with your thoughts, your words, your intentions? Will you continue the old patterns of criticism and complaint, or will you begin a new dialogue of appreciation and partnership? Will you keep fighting against your body, or will you start working with it? Will you remain unconscious of this incredible power you have, Or will you use it consciously to create the health and vitality you deserve? The choice is yours, and the time is now. Your blood is listening, your cells are waiting, your body is ready to respond to whatever messages you choose to send. So right now, place your hand on your heart and say this with me. Dear blood, thank you for carrying my intentions to every cell. Thank you for being my faithful servant all these years, even when I didn't appreciate you. Thank you for never giving up on me, even when I gave up on myself. Today I choose to speak to you with love, with gratitude, and with the wisdom that we are partners in this beautiful life. I trust you to carry my highest good to every corner of my being. I believe in your power to heal, to restore, to regenerate. I promise to support you with thoughts of love instead of thoughts of fear, with words of encouragement instead of words of criticism, with feelings of gratitude instead of feelings of resentment. Together, we will create a body that reflects the love and care I'm learning to give you. If this message touched something deep inside you, if you felt a shift in how you see your relationship with your body, subscribe to this channel for more life-changing insights. Hit that like button to help others discover this truth that could transform their health and their lives. Share in the comments below your own experience of talking to your blood. Tell me what city you're watching from and what this message means to you. I read every single comment, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Remember, your blood is listening right now to whatever you choose to say next. Make it count.